Omar Cordero, VIP and celebrity fitness trainer. Today, I have Glickstein here. Did I say your last name right?
You didn't. It's Glickstein, but it's okay. Close enough. Close enough.
We tried this before the camera started. But I want her to share her story because it's unique, it's different. And some of you that are seeing this are probably having or struggling with the same issues she had when she first started training with me. So Lily, introduce yourself to the audience and the camera and just kind of tell them their story. How did you find me? And what's been the process and what were kind of the issues that you were struggling with beforehand? Let's just kind of walk through that timeline.
Okay. I'm Lily. I'm currently at Law. I started out at Florida State University and I was really unhappy and I found myself coping by not eating. I injured myself, so I was in a boot. I was unable to exercise. So I was coping through malnourishment. That was my way of handling my depression, my stress, and I didn't really have healthy coping mechanisms at the time. So I got to a really unhealthy weight and my parents actually took me out of school. I was diagnosed with anorexia and I took a solid 8 months off any physical movement. I was on a really strict regimented meal plan so that I could gain back all the weight that I had lost. But I had lost a solid 35 pounds from my natural weight. And it was over the course of a really short period of time, which is why it was so alarming. And it took my body a really long time to gain back the weight because my organs were so malnourished. I was having a lot of other health side effects. I had osteopenia at age 19, and I was dealing with a lot of health side effects that all came from just losing weight so quickly.
And basically you weren't eating.
Yeah, or I was eating really small amounts, and a part of the eating disorder is that I convinced myself that I was eating enough and that I was sustaining myself, and that was kind of the problem. I didn't see that I needed help, and it took professionals to help me see that.
To come in and just kind of say, hey, you're having these issues, wake up because you're going down the wrong path.
Yeah, and even when I was getting help, I still would look in the mirror and see myself as fat or overweight and say horrible things to myself, and it really took working with licensed professionals to kind of rewire my brain and see myself as a different person.
Now, I remember when you first started with me, were you nervous?
Yes, very nervous. So for context, I had just started working out again and I was transferring to a new school. So I transferred from Florida State to Miami and I hadn't been seriously working out because I wasn't allowed. And I was working with a trainer in Boca Raton, Delray Beach, where I'm from, who was a really close friend of mine. And I was like, oh my God, I'm moving to Miami and I wasn't comfortable in a gym on my own. I still wasn't strong enough to be doing heavy lifting. And he gave me this guy's WhatsApp. And I messaged him on WhatsApp.
The rest is history.
And I showed up here and he was like, you're gonna gain some muscle. And I was like, okay, let's do this.
I would say you're probably about 30, 35 pounds heavier in muscle than when she first started.
And I feel more confident than I've ever felt. I used to think skinny was all I wanted to be. But now I tell my parents, I'm like, yeah, I leg press this much. I feel strong. I'm like, and they're like, who is this girl?
I told her day one, I go, I'm gonna train you like a bodybuilder. And you were like, no.
I walked out the door.
I'm gonna train you like a bodybuilder. I'm gonna feed and give you as much food as possible into your system. Your caloric intake is gonna go off the roof and we're just gonna get you hungry and lift heavy.
And that's another thing that Omar taught me. He taught me about intake and outtake, and how I used to be so scared to eat carbs, and now I live off carbs. And after a heavy—
To a point.
After a heavy leg day, he makes me drink an 1,000-calorie smoothie. And before I would have cried at the thought of that. Now I love it. I'm like, make me one, please.
It's a whole different ball game. Many of you see a lot of these interviews and a lot of the clients that we work with, and they're always trying to lose weight. But see, Lily's situation was we had to actually put weight on her and strengthen her bones, get some muscle on her, and all this has really manifested to a whole nother Lily. I mean, it's amazing. I just love just how that whole progress have gone, because when you look at the before and after pictures, it's like, oh my God. Like she's changed considerably.
And not even physically. I mean, I think there's a great physical aspect, obviously, about the gym, but I've changed as a person through learning how to eat and sustain myself, learning how to exercise in a healthy way where exercise isn't punishment for what you're eating. Exercise is fun. Exercise is to get stronger. It's really just a completely different mindset that I have around the gym. I just learned that working out is really for your mental health at the end of the day, and it just working out with Omar and with my previous trainer and the help of licensed professionals has really just changed my entire mindset about the fitness industry.
No, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, you said it right. It's all about balance. You have to have that. It's not just about the aesthetic portion, but it's about health. If we have health, that's the foundation for longevity, as I mentioned before, and everything else falls on top of that. Let me ask you a question. So who's your favorite trainer? You're hesitating. You're hesitating.
Omar, of course.
You better say that.
Of
You better
course.
say that.
He does make me hit legs 3 times a week, but still my favorite.
That's what it's all about. We're changing lives. We're getting people, moving in the right direction, and we're making it for the better. And I'm glad you shared your story. I always like to leave with one message for everybody else, and that is to get moving.